Welcome to Films and Stuff with your hosts, Pete Mitchell and Ethan Hunt.
All right, Pete, welcome back. Another day, another episode.
Another day, another episode. How's things for you?
Everything is good. Tell me about the weather in London today.
Surprisingly not bad. We're actually quite okay with the temperature. It's starting to climb again, so we're no longer in the midst of a dreary winter. But most importantly, I know you're sitting in Dubai, where the weather is always nice and warm. Tell me what's going on in Dubai. Have you been out to the Dubai Expo yet?
So I'm happy you mentioned that because, yes, now, we're in mid-March. Weather is definitely getting warmer. Maybe not by London standards, but it is definitely getting warmer. And that means it is the end of the Dubai International Expo. As you might know, the Expo, which is also, I guess, called the World's Fair in a lot of places, is something that happens every 5 years. Expo 2010 was in Shanghai. Expo 2015 was in Milan. And Expo 2020, delayed 1 year due to COVID, was in Dubai. So it started, and these things go for 6 months, which I never knew before. I kind of thought that they were like 1 or 2 week exhibitions, but they're really like 6 month long haul events. So Expo 2020 in Dubai, started in October. It wraps up at the end of March. So to the extent that you want to go, now is the time, now or never. There's only about 2 weeks left, and then it's going to be closed down and it will be packed up and moved on. I think it's going to Japan for 2025.
Oh, well, that'll be nice too. What are the pavilions like? What are the things like? I was there, but I didn't have a chance to go, which is one of my regrets.
It should be a regret. I have to say, my expectations were almost none. I'd been hearing about it, obviously, for a long time, and I kind of just, because I didn't have a frame of reference. I've never been to the Olympics. I've never been to a World's Fair. I kind of thought it was going to be like a big conference, like an exhibition, like you go to like the Las Vegas Convention Center, you go to Comic-Con or something where it's just kind of like in a convention center and you just kind of walk around from booth to booth. I really thought it was like that, but like on a bigger scale. And it's totally blown my mind because it's actually an entire, let's say it's a village. It's a village, and every country or big company or geographic region has built their own standalone pavilion. In some cases, there's kind of like it's kind of like retail space, and there's like, smaller countries, like some of the Caribbean countries, for example, have like more built up dedicated pavilions where they don't really have to design it. It's already kind of shell and core, and they just, design the inside. But larger countries like Australia, Japan, Korea, France, Singapore, UK, Italy, Netherlands, Spain, they all actually build a structure from the ground up, and they're all different designs. Some folks just build a square, and some build something that's super dynamic and architecturally unique, and they can fill it with whatever they want. They can put in a restaurant, they can put in just a slideshow. Some people do movies, some people have, different hands-on exhibits, and it can talk about culture, industry, or just kind of like a good time. So I've been 3 times actually, and it's definitely worth seeing, but it's an all-day endeavor. It's not just duck in, duck out after, like a few minutes. You should really spend, if not the whole day, you should spend several hours there and, check out a few pavilions. Some of the pavilions, again, are really more interesting than others. For example, Switzerland has a very modern looking pavilion from the outside. And the inside is kind of interesting. It just talks a little bit about like Swiss life, but nothing like, like world changing, I should say. Whereas some place like Portugal, for example, looks a little bit plain from the outside, and on the inside they have a lot about their culture, their industry, and kind of like the different regions of the country. So definitely it's worth going. And I think now in Dubai, because there's only 2 weeks left, a ticket or a multi-entry ticket is dramatically reduced because there's only a couple days left. But with the weather getting warmer, this is now your chance before everything packs up and goes to Osaka, Japan. And I have no idea what it's going to be like in Japan. I have no idea what it was like in Milan, to be honest. I mean, I don't know if Dubai was exceptionally big compared to the others, if it was about the same size, or if it's going to be the same or dramatically different. But I have to say, I thought it was really cool in Dubai. I'm not sure if I'll make it to Osaka, but if it was somewhere a little bit closer to me or to you, definitely I think it would be worth at least saving the date and seeing if you'll be around there to check it out in the future.
I've seen a lot on, in the news. I've seen a lot on YouTube. I've been watching a couple of the videos there. And, like, for example, the UK pavilion seemed really, on paper, it seemed like it was going to be not my thing, right? It was digital art and poetry, which is fine, but it's not really my cup of tea.
Yeah.
But then you see what they actually did with it, and it's all interactive. You can add to the poetry yourself, and then it gets projected onto the pavilion using digital billboards. I thought it was one of the most stunning things I've ever seen, at least on video, right? Because again, I wasn't there. So did any of those pavilions stand out to you?
I think when you're just looking externally, I thought Switzerland, Saudi Arabia, the Emirates, and Russia were probably the most dramatic pavilions from the outside. Just in terms of each of them had, none of them were square or rectangle. They all had very, very dramatic architecture. They were just visually stunning from the outside. Inside, I would say that probably, I think Saudi Arabia had some really interesting tech on the inside. They had some cool waterfalls and some other water features. The Arab Emirates had kind of like this floor that raised from the ground floor to the top floor when you're watching kind of like a video. I have to say, I thought that Pakistan was quite interesting as well. They had a lot of really cool exhibits. They had a fantastic restaurant on the inside. And Kazakhstan also had a very, very big pavilion, and it had a lot of pretty cool stuff. The U.S. focused very heavily on their space program, which is a very neutral topic, and something that I think a lot of people are really interested in. And the U.S., of course, was with NASA, had a lot of groundbreaking, satellites in their space program and the moon landing and some other things, International Space Station. So I thought that was a very good theme to focus on as well. Others, I was probably expecting maybe a lot based on, places that I like visiting or that have, very, influential cultures. But their pavilions, kind of didn't, match up with the expectation. So one of the things that I've been advising people to do is there's an app for the 2020 Expo. If you download the app, you can actually reserve a time for individual pavilions so that you don't have to wait in a queue. And I didn't do this the first time I went, and I ended up, it's like going to Disney World. You wait in the queue for like 30 minutes, 40 minutes to ride Space Mountain or whatever the ride is. And, you're a little bit disappointed. Whereas once you do the fast track, same thing in Disneyland, you save a lot of time and you can really structure your day. So if you're with a group of organized people, it's easy to kind of stay on schedule and just knock them out. If you're with a group that is a little bit more, just kind of like floats about and stops to smell the roses, it's kind of tough to, herd that group of chickens, towards, everything and stay on schedule.
Okay.
There's also a few things that are very, very Instagrammed that I didn't actually know were from Expo. One of them is they've got kind of in the middle this very dramatic water feature. Maybe you've seen it. It's kind of got like black stones, and there's a lot of there's a lot of Instagram influencers who stand on these black stones, and then there's kind of water trickling down, and then like every 5 minutes or so, like just a cascade of water just comes like pouring down. Yeah. And the white kind of foaming water on those black stones is pretty visually stunning as well. There's some music in the background, but I didn't know that was a Dubai Expo thing. I just saw it like several people had it kind of posted on their Instagram. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. I wonder where that is. And then it wasn't until I went that I actually saw it and realized, so many people were doing like an Instagram story based on that.
Excellent. That sounds really cool.
Yep. So I highly recommend. I think you're not going to make it, but maybe you can put Osaka on your diary. I guess it's about the same time. I guess it's kind of, I don't know, Japan gets cold in winter, but it's Expo 2025 in Osaka, Japan. So I assume if it follows the same structure, it's going to be kind of like October to March again, 2025 to 2026.
All right, we can set up a Films and Stuff pavilion at
the
Osaka Expo.
Come visit us. Please come visit us at the Films and Stuff Pavilion. Where would we be located? Probably between the UK and Japan.
The UK and Japan? Sure, wherever it is, I'm fine. I have no qualms one way or another.
Right next to the Hollywood Pavilion.
Yeah, you'll find us next to the food court.
Yeah, you'll find us next to the food court, and in between the HBO, the Netflix, and the Amazon pavilions.
Yeah. We'll try to avoid getting pelted by their executives with tomatoes.
Yeah, rotten tomatoes. Pete, we've got to talk about something super important in our next episode, though, don't we?
Yes, quite possibly more important than the expo, which is also important, but this, I think, is a little bit more important. I
agree. This is more important. But like Expo, it seems that every 5 years, there's a new Mission Impossible.
Great segue.
I mean, we've been waiting. So we're going to talk about Mission Impossible. We know that there's Mission Impossible 7 coming out, Mission Impossible 8 coming out. What are the timings? You have any idea?
So I am under the expectations that 7 comes out later this year and 8 comes out the year after.
Okay, so 2022, 2023. And we haven't had... What was Mission Impossible 6? When did that come out?
18? No, it would almost exactly 6 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago as well. Because you're absolutely right. On average, every 5 years or so, a Mission Impossible has been coming out since like 98.
Yeah.
Or 96 or whatever it was.
Wow. Yeah, it was 1996. Yeah. The original Mission, Impossible.
Impossible.
And now they've changed the punctuation. It's Mission Impossible, Right?
So yes, next episode, tune in. Let's talk about Mission Impossible. Let's get our minds prepared to be blown away by Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible 7 coming out later this year.
I'm ready.
And what we think it could be about, we don't know anything. No trailers.
I don't know anything.
Plot synopses. I actually don't even know who's in the movie beyond Tom Cruise.
I have not one detail, and it's a very busy year for Tom Cruise, by the way, right? I mean, he's got Top Gun 2, and he's going to have Mission Impossible.
Yeah. It's a very action-packed year for Tom Cruise, which is actually probably just a normal year for him.
Okay, Pete. Thank you for your time, and I'll catch you when we talk about Mission Impossible next episode. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Films and Stuff. If you haven't already, please subscribe and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever podcasts are downloaded. Films and Stuff. There is no substitute.